Hello and welcome to a brand new FPL channel for the 2020-2021 season. My name is Ben.
My name is Josh.
And welcome to FPL Graduates. So, in today's video, we are going to be talking about
the best newly promoted assets that you need to get into your FPL team.
Let's get into it. So, first of all, let's talk about Leeds. They came up top of the championship. They really stormed through from the get-go, from the restart especially, and won promotion in style. So let's start talking about them. Josh, what sort of assets have they got to look at?
So you mainly want to be looking at the defensive assets when it comes to Leeds to begin with, because they had the best defensive record in the championship last season. We're looking at the wing-back specifically, so you can get the attacking returns as well. So Alioski versus Ayling is one of the big ones that we picked up, wasn't it?
Yeah, I'm already looking at Alioski over Ayling because I feel like there's going to be more people going for Ayling. But they both have quite good attacking stats. They get their crosses in, and especially in the way that Bielsa plays his pressing game, we could see a few attacking returns this season.
So the thing with Alioski, he's had about, I think, nearly 1,000 less minutes than Ayling, but the key thing is that he's had one more goal and I think one less assist than Ayling. So in terms of attacking returns, that's obviously better. So it's interesting between those two. You also have Stuart Dallas in the same price bracket at 4.5 million, who's another interesting one to look. He's on a lot of minutes as well.
Yeah, it's interesting to see because we're thinking that Leeds, although we've seen Sheffield United come up do really well defensively, we think Leeds potentially could do a similar sort of thing this season with the defence they have and also with that experience in goal.
Our final defensive option from Leeds, if you're looking at real budget, sort of those bench warmers, if you'd like to say, is Barry Douglas. He's at 4 million, the lowest price point in the game. He's played 600 minutes, which means he's the most likely to feature out of any £4 million asset that through the promoted teams. Leeds are the only ones really with actual playable £4 million assets, so they're the best team to look for in that department.
Yeah, so it will be interesting as well to see who Leeds bring in because obviously up top they're lacking slightly. They've got Patrick Bamford and I know a lot of people are going to be like thinking about him, seeing that he's got 16 goals, but we need to have a look at his expected goals, Josh, don't we?
Yeah, massive stats behind these goals. He averaged a 35 XG, which is his expected goals. But he only scored 16 goals, so he's missed 19 goal scoring opportunities, which is he's not going to cut it in the Premier League. He's going to have less chances, so you'll see his goals drop dramatically.
Having seen him in the Championship as well, as a Reading fan, wow. If I had him as an FPL asset, he'd be the most frustrating player in the game to own, and I guarantee that will happen this season again.
The final Leeds asset that we're going to be speaking about is Pablo Hernandez. He's coming in at a really affordable £6 million, probably your fifth choice midfielder. The only problem we see with Pablo Hernandez is he only really plays 45 minutes a game.
Yeah, he's getting on a bit. He's into his 30s, so he's one of them players who he does have Championship quality, but can he take it up to the Premier League again? I'm not too sure, and I don't think he's going to get too many minutes this season.
Okay, so on to the next team, and it's West Brom, the other newly promoted side who got up not via the playoffs. So the key players to look at, so the top goal scorers were Charlie Austin and Hal Robson-Kanu, both netted 10 goals each for the Baggies. Charlie Austin, we're thinking one to avoid.
Definitely. He is very injury prone, and he's had to make that drop to the Championship for a reason because he is injury prone, and I don't see that changing. I think he obviously is a quality player and has been in the past for numerous clubs, but in terms of FPL returns, I think this is one you definitely have to avoid. Although it's tempting for some players, it would be a no-go for me.
Hal Robson-Kanu obviously scored that great goal to boost Wales through the Euros. He also got 10 goals, so he could be a potential player. I think he comes in at 5.5 million.
I'm not too sure.
You'll see it on the screen. So he could be another one if you're really struggling for that third striker.
I'm personally not going anywhere near Hal Robson-Kanu after the time he's had at Reading. Yeah, it's going to be a no from me yet again.
So the main asset we're looking for at West Brom, he's not actually on the game yet, so there is no price point, but Mateus Pereira got 8 goals and 16 assists last season, a really good output from him.
I'm literally waiting for him to go up to sign that contract at West Brom, make the deal permanent, and see his price. I think if he is within that 6 million, 6.5 million bracket, he's going straight into the team because he literally provided everything for West Brom last season. I think he was their player of the season. It's just been announced. So if he signs West Brom, I'm getting him in my team.
Yeah, it's really interesting to see. If maybe even with West Brom with the transfer market bringing another striker. I know Michy Batshuayi's been linked with Leeds especially. So if they can bring in someone of that ilk, like a Premier League striker,
it is a case of this season we have to find the Pookie and the Cantwell of this season real quick. So the first 3-4 weeks, seeing how all the promoted teams copes will be a key indicator deciding which players we're going to need to go for the rest of the season. Yeah,
so we've got 2 more options. One of them's actually not at West Brom, but he was last season. It's Dean Garner. He's now at West Ham. He's priced at $5.5 million.
Yeah, it's a cheap option to go for, and it will be interesting to see what he does because I've seen a few West Ham fans, a few of my mates have said they want to keep him, and he has got quality. He's a really tricky player, but it's whether his output's going to be high because last season he didn't quite have the highest output. I think he got less than 10 goals and 10 assists in the Championship. So it's just seeing whether he can maybe improve on that for the coming season.
Yeah, you also got to think like he's got the likes of Jarrett Bowen and players like that ahead of him who are probably definitely going to start as well. The final player is Lecco. He's priced at 4.5 million, so another budget option. He got 5 goals and 4 assists for Charlton last season, but he has returned from loan back to the Baggies.
He is a youngster, and he kind of given me the Eddie Nketiah sort of, Bukayo Saka sort of vibe, that this season he could maybe not feature at the start of the season, but come January, December, where there's injuries throughout the team, he could get a run out and he could have a bang of like 3-4 games where he's scoring. So definitely one to watch out for. Not now, maybe, but in the future, definitely keep an eye on this kid.
Keep on the watch list. Moving on to the final promoted side, they got in there via the playoffs. It is Fulham. We have got about 3 assets we're looking at. We're not looking at defensive assets because one, we feel they're quite like overpriced, and they both Fulham and West Brom both leaking goals really.
Well, there is one FPL asset that we are looking at, and that is Joe Bryan. And he has been a key feature of Fulham this season from left back. As we've seen in previous seasons, Fulham have produced a few good left backs in their time. So we'll have a look at him, and he produces assists. Lots and lots of assists. 7
assists last season in the Championship. He also bagged a couple goals. I think 3. Don't count me on that though.
2 in the playoff final as well.
Yeah, he is priced at 5 million though, and you can get a lot of premium assets.
There are a lot of good options in defence, especially this year, at that 5 million price point. So it's maybe worth taking that into account when fixtures come out. I think that's the key one to look at.
Yeah, the fixtures will be the key one. But yeah, 5 million. You can get the likes, I think, of like Luke Shaw, Victor Lindelof, Eric Dyer. There are a few like top 6 clubs where you can get into their defence at that price point. But he is a left back, so he will offer that creativity.
Yeah. It might be one for if you're looking at a free hit and you're thinking if Fulham are playing against an easier sort of team.
Definitely.
He could provide a lot of assists there and maybe a few bonus points there as well.
Yeah. So the big one, everyone will be looking at him. He's definitely got quite a high ownership already as the game's been released today as we're recording this. It's Mitrovic. He bagged 26 goals last season in the Championship, priced at a very, very reasonable 6 million. He could be your budget option going into the season.
I don't want to, but he's scored so many goals. He's going to be that player where you're either going to take a punt on him for 3 weeks and take him out absolutely fuming that he's got 3 yellow cards and no goals in that period, or he's going to get back-to-back hat-tricks. You literally don't know with this player, and I think it's got the FPL community all arguing with each other, not knowing quite sure what to think of this asset.
Yeah, definitely a Fulham double-up if they have good fixtures. Joel Bryan and Mitrovic could be a good...
We have to remember, though, the last time Fulham were in the Premier League,
they were very bad.
So... in terms of Fulham assets, you just got to go with your gut, I think, with these lot.
Yeah. Our last pick will be Joshua Noma, the former Tottenham midfielder. He was playing very well in the playoffs and towards the end of the season. Hasn't really got any stats behind him, so to speak, but could be like an up-and-coming midfielder.
Yeah, he's up-and-coming. He's a very strong midfielder, very powerful, and drives that Fulham team forward. Whether he's going to get returns, I don't know.
Might
I
be
think
the assist
I think
to the-
I think he's going to get a lot of assist to assist,
Yeah.
but it's another one as well where for this team especially, you're going to have to wait and see how they're performing, and then jump on at that right time, which is crucial.
Yeah, so to conclude, Leeds defence, stay away from Fulham unless you're going to get Mitrovic and he's banging form.
Yeah.
And then finally, West Brom.
Please sign Pereira. Please.
That is it for today's video. I hope you have enjoyed. My name is Josh,
I'm Ben.
and we'll catch you next time.
See you later.